Michelle Rodriguez, and this is SKN Newsline Month in Review for the month of March 2018. We start on a somber note with the report that shocked the nation, the double homicide in Keys Village. Andre Huey filed this report the day of the incident.
A double homicide occurred in Keys Village Thursday. Up to news time, an official report had not been issued by police as the matter was still being investigated. However, SK Newsline understands that two young women, Jamila French, aged 21 years, and Naomi French, aged 18 years, were attacked by a 35-year-old man with whom Naomi French may have been romantically involved. Both are seen in this photograph obtained by SKN Newsline. The man seen in this picture with one of the girls is said to be the suspect. Reports reaching SKN Newsline suggest that the man brought police officers to where the bodies of the young women were located and the weapon used to kill them. He is believed to be in police custody. In a statement Thursday evening, the Ministry of Social Services, Gender Affairs and Community Development expressed sadness at the incident. A spokesperson for the ministry noted that the deaths of these two young women are apparently the result of gender-based violence, which the ministry fully condemns. The spokesperson said, quote, "The ministry, in particular the Department of Gender Affairs, wishes to admonish the public that domestic and gender-based violence can never be the solution to handling conflict. Our people need to be more tolerant of each other, practice emotional maturity, and learn to exercise restraint instead of yielding to the urge to become violent when conflict arises." End quote. SK Newsline extends condolences to the family of the victims. We'll provide more information as it becomes available. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
In a related news item, the Nevis Minister of Gender Affairs, Hazel Brandy Williams, condemned the incident and particularly referred to an incident involving students of the Charlestown Secondary School. We hear more in this Shahari Morton report.
Junior Minister of Gender Affairs, Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams, spoke on the incident that occurred in Nevis with the three young students of the Charlestown Secondary School, seen on video the 1st of March. Ms. Brandy Williams said that it was a horrible video to watch.
In the video, two male students can be seen violently battering a female student on the school grounds. The beating lasts several minutes before security officers were able to intervene. The use of violence as a means of settling any dispute, whether amongst adults or children, is absolutely unacceptable and cause me and my cabinet colleagues, and we believe every right-thinking adult, overwhelming concern.
The minister cautioned parents to watch how they act around their children.
We are all responsible. As with issues relating to security, we are all encouraged to say something if we see something. The fact that young boys could be so motivated to violence speaks very poorly of the domestic environment to which they are exposed.
She said that the Ministry of Gender Affairs is there to instill greater awareness in women about violence.
We need in all our homes to guard against teaching, whether directly or inadvertently, that such violence is tolerable or acceptable in any way. In particular, we should be emphasizing the role of women as principal nurturers and caregivers of our families, and the importance of honoring and revering all women and girls who should be treated at all times with respect.
She also said that Gender Affairs is in the process of organizing a forum for women and girls. I am Chiari Morton, SKN Newsline.
Come on down to Kingdom Hair on Church Street, Bastille for all your hair accessories and supplies. At Kingdom Hair, you get the best in braids, weaves, wigs, accessories, barber supplies, manicure and pedicure supplies, and cosmetics. We take it to another level with electrical items, hair products, and salon furniture. Our customer service is second to none and is seen from the very moment you enter our store. All at Kingdom Hair in the Charles Wilkin Building on Church Street, Bastille. Telephone number 466-8727. Kingdom Hair, your beauty supply store.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like your boat when you're at sea and you get away from everything. Your home and the security of your daughter's things. And the car that you've had for too long, but after all these years, you just can't let go. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
Ladies, want the finest in hair care services? Then come to Diva Hair in Pond Extension, Bastille. We do nails, relaxers, weaves, haircuts, customs wig, color, hair treatment, lashes, and so much more. Our salon is clean and comfortable even while you wait. We take appointments only. Opened on Mondays and Tuesdays at 10 a.m. with the last appointment at 5 p.m. Thursdays and Fridays at 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. To make appointments, visit our Facebook page, Diva Hair. Call us at 660-4884. Diva Hair in Pond Extension for the beauty in you.
Welcome back. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis announced 2 major hotel developments in March. We join SKN Newsline's Shari Morton for more.
The government recently announced 2 major hotel developments that will be constructed on St. Kitts and Nevis. These are the Six Senses Hotel Resort and Spa at La Valley and Sea City Ultra Luxury Seabourn Semi-Submerged Floating Residence and Hotel Resort. Sunday, March 4th, 2018, the government inked a historic agreement with the owners of Six Senses Hotel Resorts and Spas. Mr. Azaria Mohammed, Vice Chairman of Range Developments, said for a Caribbean government to conclude a deal with a developer within 66 days to the highest international standards is a remarkable achievement. Prime Minister, the Honorable Timothy Harris, said the agreement signed on Sunday includes a number of incentives and commitments bargained for by the government. The recommendations include over 10,000 hours spent on annual basis by hotel employees on community service activities, 15 internships to hospitality students annually, and 10 entrepreneurial scholarships of EC $25,000. As for Sea City, Minister of Tourism Lindsay Grant said that the resort will showcase the importance of environmental protection and the life prerequisites of environmental subsistence. Mr. Grant also said, once completed, Sea City, St. Kitts and Nevis will be an exclusive, the first of its kind, ultra-luxurious underwater living experience and lifestyle unlike anything you've ever seen. To date, the developers sought to capture the significance of sharing this beautiful island resort. I am Chiari Morton, SKN Newsline.
Our news director, Andre Huey, traveled to Miami for the launch of the CONCACAF Nations League football competition, which will involve all the nations of the Football Confederation. He provided this detailed report.
I'm coming to you from Miami Beach, Florida, where the confederation that governs football in the Central America, North America, and the Caribbean, CONCACAF, has just launched the CONCACAF Nations League. The launch took place on Wednesday at the Temple Room in Miami Beach, Florida. Now, the CONCACAF Nations League is a competition that will run on the international dates set by FIFA from September officially on September 2019. There will be a qualifying round which will begin in September this year, which St. Kitts and Nevis is a part of that qualifying stage. All 41 member countries of CONCACAF will compete in the competition. 34 of those countries will compete in the qualifying stage, which begins in September, and like I said earlier, St. Kitts and Nevis will be part of the qualifying stage. Now, St. Kitts and Nevis has been drawn against the following countries. Starting September, they will be hosting Puerto Rico at the Warner Park Football Stadium, then head over to French St. Martin in October for their first away match. Then they'll be hosting Canada in November, and in March 2019, St. Kitts and Nevis will be flying over to Suriname to face Suriname there. And based on the rankings and the results of those matches, St. Kitts and Nevis has a chance to move into the actual tournament itself, which has 3 tiers, Tier A, B, and C. And based on their finishing, St. Kitts and Nevis will be placed in one of those tiers. After the official draw, I spoke with President of the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association, Mr. Anthony Johnson, who was here along with the General Secretary of the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association, Mr. Stanley Jacobs, and National Coach of the men's senior team, the St. Kitts and Nevis men's senior team, Jacques Passy. I spoke to all 3 of them after the official draw of the teams.
First of all, the league initiative is a very, very good one in that the CONCACAF nations, for the first time, will be playing quite a lot of football on the FIFA International friendly dates. And so it's important that St. Kitts and Nevis be fully prepared, as we believe we are, for the tournament. As far as the draw is concerned, it's a very exciting draw in that we have both Puerto Rico and Canada at home in Bastille, and we travel to Suriname and French St. Martin. And so we look forward to a very exciting competition, and we believe that with the preparation that we've been doing over the past few years and the friendly international game that we intend to do over the next few months, that we'll be fully prepared and ready for the tournament.
Yeah, very pleased with the draw. I believe that we got a very good draw. We drawed 2 teams at home that we have played at home before, Puerto Rico and Canada. Most people would remember that we played Puerto Rico and Canada at home in St. Kitts and Nevis in World Cup qualifiers. So they're coming back to St. Kitts and Nevis. It's 2 teams that we are very familiar with, and we believe that is 2 teams that we match up very comfortably against. So we look forward to the matchups very much. Of course, then we go away, we play away in French St. Martin and Suriname. So we don't expect any easy matches in the League of Nations. We're going to take every match seriously.
It doesn't make any difference if you are from North America, Central America, or the Caribbean. What the president of CONCACAF, Mr. Montaliani, said is unity, one CONCACAF. It's one CONCACAF. And that means that the 16 teams that are the best are going to be the CONCACAF. Why 16 and not 10? Because 6 teams have a free pass to the gold. So this is only the beginning of an era where CONCACAF will absolutely grow to unprecedented levels.
Coming to you live from Temple House, Miami Beach, Florida. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
St. Kitts and Nevis was blacklisted by the EU in March for matters pertaining to taxation.
St. Kitts and Nevis has been placed on the European Union's blacklist of tax havens. The Federation is one of 3 Caribbean territories on the blacklist, including the U.S. Virgin Islands and the Bahamas. In responding to the EU blacklisting, Financial Secretary Hilary Hazel in an official statement said St. Kitts and Nevis was blacklisted because it is considered to have a preferential tax regime.
The only area of concern for the EU is in respect of fair taxation, where a jurisdiction should have no preferential tax measures that could be regarded as harmful, and B, a jurisdiction should not facilitate offshore structures or arrangements aimed at attracting profits which do not reflect real economic activity in the jurisdiction. St. Kitts and Nevis was cited for what the EU considers a preferential tax regime, which refers mainly to the existing tax regime with respect to the provisions for offshore companies in the Federation.
Mistress Hazel said the Federation has been committed to cooperation and transparency regarding international tax compliance.
During the process of engaging with the EU, concrete commitments were made by the Federation to amend the relevant legislation to address the EU's concerns. The Federation remains optimistic that these commitments would persuade the EU partners to remove the Federation from the list of non-cooperative jurisdictions for tax purposes and allow for a framework of cooperation and dialogue moving forward. St. Kitts and Nevis does not consider itself to be non-cooperative. On the contrary, the Federation remains committed to the international standards on transparency and exchange of information for tax purposes.
Mistress Hazel also stressed that legislation was passed by the National Assembly to provide for the implementation of the Common Reporting Standards.
Legislation was passed by the National Assembly in December 2016 to provide for the implementation of the Common Reporting Standards. The Federation also joined membership of the BEPS Inclusive Framework in November 2017 and is among 112 other jurisdictions that have committed to implementing the anti-BEPS measures.
The Financial Secretary pointed out that St. Kitts and Nevis is fully cooperative and committed to the EU's tax concerns and will continue to undertake a comprehensive review of its legislation in accordance with the best practices in taxation matters. She said some EU countries have already previously removed St. Kitts and Nevis from their tax blacklist. The document prepared by the EU officials and dated March 8 regarding the blacklisting also adds Anguilla, the British Virgin Islands, Dominica, and Anguilla and Barbuda to a so-called grey list of jurisdictions which do not respect EU anti-tax avoidance standards but have committed to change their practices. The grey list includes dozens of jurisdictions from all over the world. I am Chantel Rochester for SKN Newsline.
As a fisherman, I use the marine resource wisely so I can conserve our biodiversity. So I can fish for life. It's all about balance.
I preserve biodiversity by the way that I farm. It takes care of my family. It's all about balance.
I have enjoyed these seas all my life. I do my best to conserve our biodiversity because I want my children and my grandchildren to enjoy them as much as I do. It's all about balance.
I'm a park ranger, and my job is to properly manage our protected areas and conserve our biodiversity. It's all about balance.
Youth, let's play a part in conserving our biodiversity and maintaining our natural resources. It's all about balance.
For life, for livelihood, for the future of St. Kitts and Nevis, let's all conserve our biodiversity and use our natural resources wisely. It's all about balance.
The Cable, we provide much more than just the fastest and most reliable internet service. We fill the homes of all our customers with joy and laughter. Our services connect friends and keep families together. With the most extensive fiber optic network, we ensure that you can enjoy the things you love with the people you love. Whether it's catching up with family or old friends, or simply just enjoying your favorite TV shows, people choose the Cable because quality shows.
Hey Jane, guess what? Remember how hard I've been searching for new speakers for your computer? Well, I've found them today.
Really? Where from?
At Smart Electronics that opened recently in Port Zante, opposite the food court. At Smart Electronics, you can find just about everything electronic. Phones, laptops, TVs, computer speakers, you name it. If it's electronic, you can find it at Smart Electronics.
But what about the prices?
Smart Electronics offers great rates, so you really don't need to go to St. Martin anymore. Head straight to Smart Electronics, Port Zante instead. They have everything electronic for you and you and you. That's Smart Electronics opposite Food Court at Port Zante. Telephone 466-4271.
On the road to good health, you must visit Nature's Discount Nutrition Center on 4th Street. Nature's Discount is your first stop for all natural supplements to maintain the health of the entire family. Natural alternative medicines to heal your ailments. Natural weight management supplies to ensure you look good. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center also carries all of your sports nutrition supplies, cleansing and digestion products, natural health and beauty products, oils, organic and gluten-free foods, energy and endurance, and sexual well-being supplements. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center on 4th Street is open 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Monday through Fridays and evenings 6:30 to 8:30 on Saturdays. Nature's Discount Nutrition Center, your get healthy, feel wealthy people.
Now you can have SKN Newsline on the go. Introducing SKN Newsline Android mobile app. Search SKN Newsline in the Google Play Store. Download the app free and stay up to date with TV news in St. Kitts and Nevis in the palm of your hands. With this app, you can watch your news reports, watch our live news feed on SKN Newsline TV, engage with us and other app users in the chat room, look at our special features, send us news tips, and call us directly. It's news on the go. The SKN Newsline Android mobile app. Download it free today.
Welcome back. March was the month of the nation's Scholastic Meets. Here are 3 reports detailing the outcome of the Rams Primary School Championships, the Gulf Insurance Primary School Championships in Nevis, and the TDC Inter-School Championships.
Meet this weekend. Thank you very much. Mr. DJ.
For the 5th consecutive year, the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, SEMS, has won the TDC Inter-School Championships at the Kim Collins Athletic Stadium in Bird Rock, with a whopping 27 gold medals, 16 silver and 18 bronze medals. Washington Archibald High School ended with 16 gold medals in 2nd place, but was nowhere close to challenging the 5B champions. 3rd place went to the Charlestown Secondary School. Coach Llewellyn Pike said Sunday night, after his team's impressive defense of the title, that it's all down to hard work and a talented crop of athletes from feeder schools.
It was fabulous. I felt that we would have gotten about 30 goals, but after we went to the technical meeting and some events didn't fly, I knew we would fall about 27. It's not really a secret, is that we're getting good athletes from the feeder schools and they work hard in training.
Meanwhile, Nikisha Howe, an athlete with the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, agreed that hard work was the key to her school's victory. She competed in the 1500 meters, the 800, 3000 and 4x100 meters.
Well, I know that I would have placed and get a goal in all of them, but 3000, I pull up, but I placed in everything else.
Secondary. And how hard you won leading up to one?
Very hard, very.
What do you think about your teammates' performance?
Well, they did great. They made me proud.
Meanwhile, Public Relations Officer of the St. Kitts Nevis Amateur Athletics Association, the SKN AAA, Kyloni Johnson, said being the first inter-school championships under the responsibility of the new executive, the outcome was successful.
All in all, I would think that we pulled off a very exciting and successful event this year. I mean, you can just judge it by the size of the crowd, the energy, the atmosphere at the Kim Collins Stadium, and going by that alone, I think we did a fairly good job here this year. Well, as going back to last weekend, the primary school athletes, they put on a show for us. They came out, gave it their all, and we're really proud of them. This weekend, likewise, we saw several records falling. I mean, the athletes, they put a lot into their craft, and to come out here and perform well for the general public, all I can say is kudos to them, congratulations to each and every one of them. Those who placed, those who didn't place, we just want to congratulate each and every one of them for coming out and putting on a good show for the fans.
Mr. Johnson said the remainder of the SKN AAA calendar would be an active one. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. For a 3rd consecutive year, the Dr. William Connor Primary School ran away with the Rams Primary School Championships with an impressive medal haul. To take the 2018 honors, Dr. William Connor earned 19 gold medals, 13 silver and 12 bronze medals. Their closest competitors were not that close. Former champions Sandy Point Primary School with 8 gold medals, 15 silver and 7 bronze. Deep Bay Primary School was third with 5 gold, 5 silver and 3 bronze, and Keon Primary School had 3 gold, 5 silver and 6 bronze medals in 4th place. The teachers of the Dr. William Connor Primary School, students and athletes were elated to win a 3rd straight title.
The entire weekend has been rewarding because this is one of the most difficult and challenging times of our defending championship throughout the past 3 years. But with the hard work of the team, we were able to pull off the 3-peat and do it in grand style.
3 years now, we are current champions. What has been the difference between you and the other schools?
Hard work. We've been working on it. We've put in the work. For about the past 7 years or so, we've been really working and trying to perfect the art, and this is just the result of that hard work that we've put in.
And going forward, what are you looking
Can't tell you what we're looking forward to. That's a secret. We keep everything in-house, and again, we are very humble. We strive in humility. We don't normally put on any grand performance or any grand motorcade to go by other schools. We congratulate the schools, we congratulate Sandy Point, we congratulate Dearbet, the 3 podium schools. We do things in humility. But as we continue going forward, just look out for Dr. William Connor coming forward.
I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline. The Joycelyn Library Primary School and the Charlestown Primary School both created history on Wednesday night, becoming the first schools to win the Gulf Insurance Primary School Championships, held for the first time at the newly minted Nevis Athletic Stadium. This was the first event to be held at the stadium located at Long Point, Nevis, and the first time the student athletes competed on a synthetic rubber track, as opposed to the grass track at Grove Park where the event was held for the previous 25 outings. The Joycelyn Library Primary School and the Charlestown Primary School both tied on 181 points, while last year's champions St. Thomas's Primary School were third with 168 points. The Elizabeth Pemberton Primary School won the B division of the competition. After the last race, the 4x400 meter relay won by the Charlestown Primary School, the athletes and supporters began celebrating as they knew that result was enough to give them the win. But a few minutes later, the announcers announced, after receiving the official results, that the Joycelyn Library Primary School also won, having the same number of points as Charlestown. The school from Gingerland suddenly began celebrating. Coach Kervin Wallace of the Joycelyn Library Primary School was absolutely elated with his team's triumph.
Well, let me first say I just want to thank God because we prayed, God delivered. It's a joint win, but He still helped us to win. The children performed well. I mean, you probably saw the relays. We did well in the relays, we did well in the 100s. We didn't do too well in some of the races, but overall, the children performed well. I'm happy. My heart is overwhelmed, overjoyed. Congratulations to the children. They ran their heart out, even though sometimes we thought we were hard on them. So I'm really happy. The first time on the track, the first win, it's a joyous feeling. And for me, being a past athlete, a past Olympian, I'm just happy.
Principal of the Charlestown Primary School, Latoya Jeffers, did not seem to mind sharing the championship with the school from Gingerland.
Well, I'm very happy and I'm very pleased. We came with a mission. We came from 4th place to 1st place, and I'm very proud and I'm very happy that the children came out and represented. We wanted to create history on this track, and that's what we did today.
And your thoughts about the new stadium and the way your athletes competed on the new stadium?
Oh, it's spectacular, and I'm very happy that the children were able to come out and perform like true champions. It seemed as though they were here before.
Meanwhile, Jamira Claxton of the Department of Sports, organizer of the meet, was very satisfied with the outcome of the first event at the state-of-the-art venue.
I'm very proud of the athletes, I'm very proud of the organizer, the fans today. Everything went very well today. For the first event, it was awesome. I appreciate all the support from all the different stakeholders who came to make this possible. So kudos to everybody involved.
Now, the outcome, I mean, unusual, but something extraordinary to see 2 schools tied.
Exactly, and these are 2 schools that 2 of the schools would have dominated this competition over the years. For so this to happen on the first event at the Mondo track, I mean, you couldn't write a script that's this perfect. So it was a great ending. 2 schools who really performed well today, so both deserve champions.
It was a tight battle among the top 3 schools in this year's competition, as defending champions St. Thomas's Primary School were off to a quick start. But it was not before long the Charlestown Primary School made an early assault on the title. The team from the capital town soon tied with St. Thomas's Primary School on points midway through the meet, and by the end of the day had built just enough to take the lead. But the Joycelyn Labrador Primary School made a sudden surge, getting good results in the 100 meters, 800 meters and the 4x100 meter relays to launch a bid for the top spot. It was no surprise that they did enough to tie for the title. The Elizabeth Pemberton Primary School finished 4th on 128 points, the Ivor Walters Primary School 5th with 94 points, the Maud Cross Prep School on 62 points in 6th place, the Bollitt Jeffers Elizabeth Primary School in 7th place on 41 points, and the St. James's Primary School in 8th place with 9 points. SK Newsline sister media entity Voice of the Caribbean Radio at voiceofthecaribbean.net broadcast the meet live for the first time. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
The nation experienced a bloody weekend in March where 2 were killed and others injured in separate shooting incidents spanning a 3-day period. Andre Huey has more.
It was a violent weekend in St. Kitts with reports of a shooting and 2 more homicides. It started on Friday night with an attempted murder incident in Taylor's Village. Police said they received a call about 9:15 p.m. to a report of a shooting at Taylor's housing. Investigations so far have revealed that 35-year-old Hannibal Basu and another person had returned home and were walking to go inside the house when an unknown gunman opened fire on them. They ran. However, Basu was shot several times about the body. He was transported to the JNF hospital where he was treated for his injuries and is listed as being in a stable condition. The scene was visited by the crime scene unit and items of evidential value were taken into police custody. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. A few minutes later, at about 9:35 p.m., police found the lifeless body of 41-year-old Glenville Francis on the ground in the vicinity of the railway tracks with a gunshot wound to his upper body. Investigations so far have revealed that the victim was on the back road when he was shot by an unknown assailant. The district medical officer pronounced him dead at the scene. The crime scene unit arrived and processed the area, and several items of evidential value were taken into police custody. Meanwhile, a report reaching SK Newsline said a St. Peter's resident was rushed to the JNF hospital Saturday morning with gunshot wounds. Ricaldo Jeffers became the 3rd person to be attacked by the gunman in less than 24 hours and the 4th injured in 4 separate shooting incidents for the week. Police did not issue an official report on the incident but confirmed was investigating the matter. SK Newsline also received reports of a shooting in Sandy Point on Saturday night where a young man was shot and killed. Reports are that 30-year-old Calvin Archibald was rushed by ambulance to the JNF hospital after he was shot while playing a game of dominoes. Informed sources say he received 3 bullets to the head and succumbed to his injuries as doctors and nurses attempted to save his life. Archibald's murder is the 7th in the Federation for the year and the 5th in St. Kitts. All 5 of those killings in St. Kitts occurred in the month of March. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
The People's Labour Party of Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris held its 2nd annual party convention on the several questions about the strength of team unity. His coalition partners were at the convention to drum up support for team unity and for the PLP. More in this report. Members of the Team Unity government has sought to assure supporters that the coalition government is together and stronger than ever, despite suspicions in the public domain and on social media that rifts are brewing within the government. Leader of the People's Action Movement, PAM, and Deputy Prime Minister Sean Richards has declared that his party has given its full support to the People's Labour Party, PLP, led by Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris. He was speaking at the party's convention at the Patsy Allers playing field in St. Johnston's Village.
All here giving support to PLP because we recognize the importance of team unity. 3 different political parties working together as one to bring growth and development to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. PLP, I congratulate you on this, your 2nd annual national convention.
Mr. Richards declared that there is a common enemy for all the parties in the coalition and the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, most like referring to the leader of the opposition and former Prime Minister Dr. Denzel Douglas.
We have a common enemy. PAM has a common enemy. CCM has a common enemy. PLP has a common enemy. But most importantly, there's a common enemy against you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And we have to continue to work to ensure that we are able to develop and keep the common enemy away from all of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Meanwhile, Deputy Premier reassured the support of the Concerned Citizens Movement in Nevis to the Team Unity Coalition.
And what better three parties could have formed Team Unity? The People's Labour Party that put people first. The People's Action Movement, speaking about people again. And you know what? With people in an island or in a country, we are all citizens, so you have the Concerned Citizens Movement. The Concerned Citizens Movement. So three entities that put people front and foremost in what they do. And that is why we have talked about people matter more. People matters most. And that is what is going to happen come the next election. People are going to decide who determines the next government, and it will be your Team Unity administration.
In recent days, supporters of Team Unity have claimed that rumors are rife on social media, suggesting that the PLP is seeking to run additional candidates when the next elections are called in an attempt to usurp PAM, which currently has the most seats in the coalition. The opposition has also challenged PAM members of parliament to challenge Dr. Harris, who they describe as a dictator. The Team Unity coalition is made up of the CCM in Nevis with 2 seats, the PLP with 1 seat, and the PAM with 4 seats. I am Michelle Rodriguez for SKN Newsline. And finally, on this edition of the Month in Review, Premier Mark Brantley provided journalists with a report on the Nevis Island Administration 4-month-old amnesty.
Premier Mark Brantley disclosed at a press conference Thursday that 974 non-nationals have benefited from a 4-month work and residence permit amnesty instituted by the Nevis Island Administration, which was due to expire on March 31st.
And I'm very pleased this morning to report that some 974 persons would have come in and availed themselves and benefited from this amnesty in that period. And as I came to work this morning, I met people outside who, as is the Caribbean policy, it seems, it's ingrained in our DNA, that they've come at the 11th hour to take advantage of the 4-month-old amnesty. So I saw some outside lined up and saying they're coming to deal with it because they recognize that it ends on the 31st of March. Just so the members of the press are clear, that after the 31st of March, the prices go back to what they would normally be. And those who owe will have to come and settle in full whatever they owe.
The Premier noted that the amnesty has now been extended to next week, considering the Easter holiday break. The Premier outlined the benefits of the amnesty to applicants.
So if you had not been paying, we wiped off that debt and allowed you to start anew. And then we said as an incentive for you to come in and take advantage of the amnesty, that if you came in before the 31st of March, we would reduce the work permit fee from $2,500 to $1,500, and we would reduce the residency fee from $1,500 to $1,000.
Mr. Brantley justified the need for the amnesty, highlighting that foreign nationals residing and working on Nevis are making a positive contribution to the island.
Those who have come to Nevis and sought to make Nevis their home are making a valuable contribution. No different to the way that we, when we went to America and the U.S. Virgin Islands and places like Leeds and Birmingham and Manchester in the United Kingdom, made our contribution to the development of those countries. I have said, and I've not been shy about saying over the years, that my own father of blessed memory lived in distant lands for over 40 years. And I know what it's like to get that little check coming to my mother on a monthly period, because that was what sustained us. And I'm not unusual in that regard, because I know many of you sitting down here don't eat plenty out of barrels and boxes that came from St. Martin and Puerto Rico and elsewhere. And that is why I've always been kind, if you will, and always said that we ought as a community to be kind to those who have come from overseas to call Nevis home. They are here, they're making their contribution, and we are not to begrudge them for choosing to be here. We ought to celebrate the fact that they're here. It adds diversity and it gives us the much needed population that we need in order to advance our island and advance its development.
The press conference was held on Thursday at the new Social Security building on Nevis. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
This has been the SKN Newsline Month in Review. I am Michelle Rodriguez. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to sknnewsline.com, our Facebook page and our mobile app for more news on St. Kitts and Nevis.